All right, this is a live teardown. Welcome. This is Doug from Niche Site Project, and we are apparently live. And hopefully, people could hear me. I see we have a handful of folks on. We have Curious Devil, we have Alwayne, and Carl. So, what's up, everybody? Good to have you on. Today, we're going to follow, the normal format. We're going to take a look at a specific site. I'll give you some critique around it. This one's called LifeWire Tech Untangled. And we'll also take a look at the SEM Rush report to get some idea about the traffic. We have Justin on as well. Justin, good to see you on. New member of the course, and Kronos as well. And Georgie is sitting here with me. She has her head like resting on my leg. She's trying to poke me, so I'll go take her for a walk, but we just went out. So Stuart's on also. Green Hill Graphics, good to have you all on. And as it goes normally, hopefully we'll have like a moderator or two, but if not, I'll see if I could watch things on my own and make sure if any trolls show up that I take care of that. And if you guys see any trolling action going on, feel free to report it, and that helps out. I think you can do that. I'm not 100% sure. One thing before we go on, quick announcement. My course, 5-Figure Niche Site, is out, right? So it's open for enrollment. Enrollment typically only opens for a short period of time. That short period of time is this week. So if you're interested in starting a niche site or increasing the income for a site that you already have in place, then you should check out the link in the description, because you could buy the course this week. The official course starts on Monday. There's like Unit 0, which is more about mindset and helps you set goals for the next week. So next Monday, the 23rd, April 23rd, 2018, depending on when you're watching this is in 2018. Is when the Unit 1 comes out. Now I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And LifeWire, this is an interesting site. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is part of the like about.com group of sites, which is very interesting because about.com was a huge site back in the day, and I believe a new person purchased it, an owner. I don't know if it was a person or a big company or something like that. Someone purchased it and sort of dismantled the site. And you could imagine about.com had a lot of power, and they were able to, grow the revenue quite a bit. So there's a strong chance I'll do like a series of videos on that topic. So without further ado, I'm going to start sharing the screen. And one interesting thing about LifeWire, and we'll sort of highlight it as we go. Hopefully the screen resolution fits well for everyone. So the interesting thing with this site is there's a lot of how-to information. Now, there are people struggle with different areas of keyword research a lot of times. And one of the key things that they have a hard time with is around informational articles. And you could see just this is their homepage. So pretty nice looking homepage, gets straight to the point. LifeWire Tech Untangled. You'll see of the 4 main categories that you see above the fold here, you have how to, you have fix, buy, and do more. So just in general, 3 of the 4 are more oriented towards informational type articles versus like product reviews. So that's pretty cool. And you should be able to get like ideas on, your own niche on how to, come up with how to type articles, well, fixing, right? So that's a whole other category of how to, and then doing more doesn't mean, right, you can't offer more products or review other offers or something like that, but orienting it towards really helping with information versus like selling is a good way to, serve your visitors better, right? So you're serving your visitors better, which is really the goal, right? So let's take a quick look at the homepage, and we'll just scroll down. And I like this homepage a lot. So they don't give you too many choices. They have multiple categories. They allow you to sign up for their email list here and follow on Facebook. So a couple calls to action, whether like email is your thing or Facebook, you could choose one of those two. Next, we have editors picks and hilarious cat memes. Like, who doesn't like those? So that's something fun that they could put on there. I'm sure they rotate it pretty pretty regularly. So as we're scrolling down, there is an ad over here, but it is for LifeWire. So that, I mean, it's like their own ad, but they are mentioning it's an advertisement, and it looks to be it's a Google Leads doubleclick.net ad over there. So whoever is serving that. Now, as we scroll down, there's a footer area. Again, I like this homepage. It's not too big. I mean, it's a big site, but this homepage doesn't give you like a crazy number of choices like some of the others. So again, we have a similar calls to action. Basically, everything that we saw above is sort of consolidated into this footer area. Additionally, we have about us, the privacy policy, contact, advertise, careers, and terms of use. So a few other options down here. We'll look at about us in just a moment, but we're also going to look at SEM Rush, like I mentioned. So when you see the traffic stats, it will alarm you. So we have LifeWire, and this is the full version of SEM Rush. There's a link in the description, which is an affiliate link. However, you could sign up for SEM Rush. I think there's like some period of a free trial. I think it varies from time to time. You will have to enter your email and your credit card information, and you'll have to make sure you cancel it before you get charged. Otherwise, you're going to get charged for it. But anyway, this is a great tool. It gives you an estimate of the traffic based on the organic search. So the 12.2 million is probably a little bit low. So the organic search takes into account keywords that are like, I guess, the site's ranking well for and that SEMrush is actually tracking, but it doesn't take into account the long tail keywords because there are so many variations. It would sort of be impossible to track, right? And I see in the chat, people are saying, wow, that is a lot of traffic. And this is probably an underestimate. Most of the time, there's more traffic going to the site. And this is per month, by the way, 12.2 million per month. So it's crazy, right? And as we look, we see there's no history prior to, or it looks to be very little history prior to about like the end of 2016 or so. So it's just like from nothing to about almost 20 million in, in the retail season of 2017. So actually prior to that period, the scale may be out. I mean, they could have been getting, 100,000 visitors, but we can't see it on this scale very well. The point is they're getting a lot of traffic. They even have some paid search that they're running, only 95 keywords, which is a drop in the bucket to the 3.2 million that they're ranking for here. Now, one of the big advantages with SEM Rush is you could go check out the full report. Now, we could see immediately that some of the stuff that they're ranking for is really, let me rearrange this from their position. So, and maybe that wasn't the best way for me to, I want to organize by percentage of traffic. That's actually what I want to do. And it takes into account like the volume of the keywords and where they rank, and they predict the amount of traffic compared to the overall traffic to the site. So they're ranking for some, non-commercial keywords. So, I mean, they're getting a ton of traffic. However, a lot of the traffic may or may not be like really worthwhile. So in fact, as we look down, there's some that are worthwhile and there's some that aren't. So dash cam, they're ranking number 1, 95,000 searches per month, which is, well, that's a lot. And yeah, we could assume they're doing really well. Now, the thing is, with 3.2 million keywords, you can't really get too much meaningful, you know, with that amount of keywords. So you would need to go and filter, um, the keywords. And, one interesting thing you could do if you are looking for keywords for Amazon affiliate sites, like we may be doing, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this. You can't just like filter for best. We're still going to end up with like way too many keywords, but just as an example, you may actually see a couple keywords. So best Wi-Fi extender, best digital camera, best drones. So you get the point. There are plenty of like buyers keywords, and as you whittle it down, you can filter and on many different things. So the keyword type, category, number of words, position, volume, keyword difficulty, and so on. So, and I'll just, as a quick example, we could just say number of, I didn't want to lose that, but we'll say number of words is greater than 5, and then we'll include the keyword containing best. So we're looking for like long keyword phrases that are 5 words or more that contain the word best. So this potentially could give us some, really, really interesting like keyword golden ratio type terms. So we end up with like best Wi-Fi router for long range, best video editing software for Mac. So these are like sort of classic keyword golden ratio type keywords. So I'm not going to go too deep onto SEM Rush. It could be a whole course by itself. In fact, they do free webinars. So if you wanted to check those out, you could learn a lot about how to, go to a big site like this and figure out like how you could compete with them based on going after keywords in a more specific way. Now let's go back to the site and the actual teardown. I often like to look at the About Us page just because it gives us some insight. So we can see that they have a video here. So that's one of the first things I noticed, hosted over at Vimeo. And we see that they teach you how to use your best screens and gadgets, have fun, fix what isn't working, and buy gear for your life. So they're just trying to, help out. They have the team listed here, and we alluded to the fact that it is a lot of traffic. All right. So it was a lot of traffic. But the thing is, this is a media company. This is like a conglomerate. And one thing that I saw is like part of the Dash company. So we're going to look at this a little bit deeper, but they have a CEO, a general manager, and a content manager. And these are like professional shots. So we can assume that, these are like real pros here running this thing. So they have contact us information, write for us information, work for us, and so on. One of the things that tells us this is a huge site, aside from the traffic, is LifeWire is a .dash brand and part of the IAC family of websites. So, what is that? I'm not sure. So let's click on it and see. So when we check out .dash, they're one of the biggest, fastest growing, and most trusted properties on the internet. And as we scroll down, we'll see that, well, they own a lot of websites. So I'm sure, I'm not going to read them all out, but I'm sure some of them you have heard of before, and you are aware that, well, these are big ass sites, and these are just the ones that they've talked about. So they have 77 million monthly unique visitors, and it's a big site. Okay. So it's a big site, and I want to emphasize, because I got called out a little bit by one or two people last week. You can learn a lot of stuff by checking out what bigger companies that don't have, the constraints of, time. I think some people are asking questions about time. But if you go and check out what bigger sites are doing, you could sort of like reverse engineer some of the tactics that they're using. You could see what they're testing, perhaps, if you watch it pretty closely. And from that, you could potentially like use things on your site that you learned from them. So I'll quickly just like look at some of the other content. I'm not going to watch the video here. You can watch it on your own if you want. But with this information on .dash, we see it is a big site. Now, let's take a look at the header section here because we could see, they have a big search bar here, which is good. So you could search for whatever you want. And then they have the navigation section here. So this is a big like menu, right? So there's a lot of information. However, because it is such a big site, I think that's part of the reason they have so many options here. So it's not terrible, but typically, one would have like fewer options on a menu, but they are, making it a larger view. So, we can make some assessments on or we can make a wise choice on where we want to navigate to. So, as I mentioned before, they have like a lot of informational stuff, right? So it's not all product reviews, but I'm pretty sure, they would have the opportunity to recommend products even if it wasn't a straight up product review. If someone has like a broken digital camera that they're trying to fix, for example, chances are they may be interested in buying a new camera, right? So because what the user is looking at, you could have a pretty good idea on like what they may be interested in buying. Next, I'm going to arbitrarily click on a how to for digital cameras. All right. So these send us to sort of like a category type page. They have a little intro here, nice graphics, so you're in the right place with this digital camera being displayed. And they have a little bit of a menu. So it's basics, guides, and that you can navigate to whatever you're most interested in. Additionally, they have the ad panel banner over here on the right side, just like before. They do a good job like matching the ad color up. I don't know if this is 100% intentional or if this is just the Merrill Edge like color scheme, but the blues and the yellows, they go together pretty well. And so they have the category or subcategories, I guess we can call it, over here on the left. And then they have, some of their most popular stuff, I would suspect. So tips for mobile photography for beginners and so on. Now here it's kind of a magazine style layout. It's articles and they have, many different choices. Actually, at this point, it's like, wow, there's so many choices, but depending on what you're looking for, if you're just like, hey, I want to read about digital camera how-tos, like this could fit the bill pretty well. So as we scroll down, we see there's view more. So you could, see more of the articles that they have out there. And there's another ad banner down here. Now, the thing is, they're getting so much traffic. Putting the ad banners is certainly worthwhile because 12.2 million, they're probably making a lot of money just from showing ads and people clicking, having retargeting ads running. It's going to be a profitable thing to do. They just have so much content and so much traffic. So let's arbitrarily choose between some of these articles. So I am just going to click on what's the difference between optical and digital zoom. So informational type article. So what's the difference between these two types of zooms? But again, you have a great opportunity to offer suggestions for products in both cases. In fact, you could say, hey, this camera uses an optical zoom and this one uses a digital zoom. By the way, if you wanted to buy either one on whatever affiliate program, you can click the link and get to it. So it's really easy to place your affiliate links into informational articles as long as you know what they're there to learn about, which you do because the title. So it's not a big stretch. So first off, we have their the big high quality image. We see who the article's by, of course, and then the updated date. So that's something that a lot of these larger sites do just so we know, hey, like this is up to date. And they have pretty decent intro here. They're hooking you, so you're interested in reading. You could see shopping for a digital camera. So one of the other things you could do if you don't want to be too heavy-handed with your affiliate like suggestions on an informational article, you can link over to the the affiliate articles. So you have plenty of opportunities to do that, and they're shopping for a digital camera, it's keyword rich and all that stuff. And I see I see some questions over there. So Mufasa, I'm going to go through the content, and then I'll come back and answer all your questions, so feel free to keep asking, but for continuity I'm just going to keep talking. So you could ask more, and I'll come back to it in a few minutes. Thanks. So obviously, someone is trying to understand the differences between the different Zooms. So they are talking about the differences. Obviously, you want to answer the question that the visitor is heading out, or trying to figure out. So I think potentially, right? So they say optical zoom and digital zoom. I think they would potentially have like a little bit more of an opportunity to put something more interesting in the subheading. I mean, it's fine. It's obviously on topic, but could use a little copywriting to spice it up a bit. Like, what's so great about optical zoom, and why digital zoom is inferior, something like that, to introduce some curiosity and stuff like that. And as we scroll down, they're just giving information. I think it could be great to have like a picture of, an optical zoom camera, a digital zoom camera, just so, you can see that they are similar or that they are different. Or, as we scroll down, it'd be great to have the like examples and samples of like the drawbacks of a zoom lens. So it'd be great to see like the noise of a optical versus a digital zoom. So in each case it could be real. I mean, this is visual, so I would say putting images would be really good, right? That would be a really smart thing to do. So I think they have an opportunity to just like improve the editorial content on this. But what they've done is a really good job. They're linking all over the place to their other articles using very like targeted keyword anchor text. So, I mean, I think in that case, this is a fantastic article. Additionally, from a link building perspective, an SEO perspective, you could go out and work harder on getting links to this specific article and potentially get like more traction than if it was like a purely affiliate article with like very heavy-handed sales wording and calls to action, where this one is purely informational. Some sites primarily do that. In fact, if you haven't seen some of the success story interviews, you could basically check out the playlist. I don't think I have a link in the description, but you should be able to find it. So it's keyword golden ratio success stories. And by targeting like informational like keywords, a lot of times those are going to be a little bit less competition, because most people would choose to go after affiliate type keywords. But if you don't and you go after informational, you may have an easier time ranking. You may have a little bit easier time getting links to it. So that's a good example of an informational post. And the one other thing, I'll come back to the video. The one other thing I would mention is they don't use any like bullet points or numbered lists or anything like that, sort of like rich formatting, right? So they have an opportunity to make it a little bit more readable, and Google generally likes like rich formatting and that sort of thing. So they, if they had that sort of stuff, they have a greater chance to get like the rich snippet area in the Google search results. So I'm going to hop over and do a couple questions really quick. So we have Bruno says, you've been curious about this for a long time. What stops someone from building 100 niche sites? Okay, so quick note. If you can ask questions that are related to the topic of today, that would be amazing. Random questions and stuff are best for Friday. So Friday is random Q&A. But if you ask random questions today, the answers are going to be shorter because it's out of place and out of context. So what stops someone from building 100 niche websites that make $1,000 each per month? Well, it's way more work to do that than just to make, like, say, 2 sites that make, you know, $500,000 each, right? So it's easier to manage fewer sites. Managing 100 sites is pretty difficult. So you're better off just spending your time on a couple. However, Bruno, I've been wrong before. I'm wrong about a lot of things. And if you wanted to try just doing like 5, I think you would see that if you did like 20 times more than that, you would go insane. So it sounds like a good idea on the surface, but it's not really a good idea. Mufasa says, "Can I talk about SEO for a new blog?" So there's a playlist for this. So just go to my channel and search for like SEO and link building. But basically, you need to go build links. So that's the off-page SEO. I assume that's what you're asking about. As far as the on-page SEO, you should have well-written content. You should make sure the grammar is really good, and you should make sure your keywords are well targeted. And it's as simple as that. Also, go watch the playlist because it's a lot more in depth. Okay, Mufasa says, I can set up a site. I can search for long tail keywords with low competition. Otherwise, won't rank. What do I think? Mufasa. So go watch that playlist, check it out, and I think things will be a lot more clear. It's typically a lot more difficult than whatever you're describing right there. Okay. So any specific questions about the content of today? If not, I'll hop over and look at a review. And Josh, what's up? You are asking, how do you get guest posts to commercial pages? Same way you get any other guest post. So I think I've actually talked about this at length in like a guest posting video. So check that out. But essentially, you get a guest post, you put your link in there and hope that they leave it in. If you spend more time networking and getting to know whoever it is you're guest posting with, then like your chances of having the link stay into your affiliate content are extremely high. So if you're just sending out random emails, it's probably not going to work. They're probably going to take your link out, and you may have bad luck. The number one thing that you need to make sure of is that you have well-written, valuable content, because if it's just like a very spammy looking page with tons of calls to action, buttons everywhere, buy this, it's probably not going to work out for you. So yeah. Okay. Jaron just joined. The site is LifeWire. And John says, is there any difference in using Ahrefs versus SEM Rush for a site teardown? Yes, but I don't know exactly what the differences are. It's different information. Personally, I find the SEM Rush view for what we're looking at in these teardowns is a little bit easier to dissect. But Ahrefs has I think they have the superior backlink database. So if you're more interested in the backlinks and the backlink analysis, then Ahrefs is where you should go. So let's go back, and sorry I couldn't answer the other questions again, folks. Just trying to have some continuity for the content. So if you ask questions that are unrelated, then it just doesn't fit. So Friday, I'll answer all the random questions. I can go a little bit deeper into Mufasa's questions and stuff like that. But really, Mufasa, just go to the search bar on YouTube and just ask whatever question that you have, and you'll probably find like an hour and a half of like free workshop. So all you have to do, man, is go look and search for what you're looking for, and then you'll be in good shape. So let's look at buying guides. So I'm just going to arbitrarily look at a few of these here. And let's see. Actually, let's go a little deeper. Let's look at audio. And let's look at guitar amps, 8 best guitar amps to buy in 2018. So remember, and for the people that have joined a little bit late, this site gets something like 12.2 million visitors per month. So it's a huge site, tons of information, lots of different buying guides. So this is one of their buying guides, and you can see they put the year in there. So that's interesting to note. And as we scroll down, we see they have like a, sharing options here. So they have Facebook, Pinterest, and email. Then they have like some navigation over here on the left and our banner on the right. So they have a, first paragraph here. It's a pretty good hook, it's not too bad. And they're trying to, throw in some, I guess, keywords, but really it's like keywords for us. So I see like vendor tube warmth, Vox, and they're throwing out stuff that people that play guitar would be interested in. So as we scroll down, we see, they have like pretty straight up, it's the best overall Fender Twin. They have the classification, so best overall, and then they have the name of the product. They have an image here, and I believe both of these are affiliate links. And then we have buy on Guitar Center, so they're an affiliate through Guitar Center, and you could also buy it on Amazon. For Amazon, they have the price listed, and they note that it's Prime. I'm assuming because this is a a big company dash, this is all back end coded, and it's all good to go. They don't give too much information, right? I mean, you could see this is probably just a couple hundred words at most, and in my opinion, they miss out on, I mean, it's just one paragraph, right? So first of all, they can make shorter sentences. They could write a lot more, right? There are 8 different amps listed here, and it's really not that many words. I'm going to quickly use a tool called SEO Quake. It's a free extension for Chrome, and I'm just going to look at the keyword density. So they have 8 different amps that they're reviewing. They're 2,100 words. So really not that many per amp. And as we scroll down, one thing that they do well is they have classifications for each kind of amp. So it's like best budget, best tube amp, and you'll notice there's no image for this one, right? There's no image for the Vox hand wired either. Now, quick question for people that are watching. So live, do you think it's bad that they don't put images here, or good that they don't put images here? And if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments. Is it good that they put an image on the first one and then no images on the others? A lot of times, I'm going to pop back on the screen here. A lot of times people are super concerned about having images on their site, and they want to have, big images. They think images are super important. Maybe they're not as important as you think, because here's the deal, right? When I see this, best tube amp, it's a Vox hand wired AC30 HW2. I don't know what it looks like. And boy, I'm really curious what it looks like. I would like to see the hand wiring too. So chances are I'm going to click the link because I want to see what it looks like. So there's a curiosity gap there. And I think it's a good move to not always put an image, or to put something like, click here to see more images, right? Maybe you have a small image, just a little something, and you could, use the curiosity to your advantage. So let's go back, keep scrolling down. And I think, the primary stuff is holds true. So it's one big paragraph. They can format it better. They can make these longer, and so on. Again, they're listing the price here, which is fine. Someone's asking about the price. It's not against the policy to put a price on the affiliate buttons. Kronos is just, you have to use the API from Amazon. So as long as it's accurate, it's okay. The other thing is when we're looking at these other sites, you shouldn't assume that a site like LifeWire, that's part of a big company, has the exact same operating agreement that we do, they probably have a few like representatives from Amazon that work with them. So if they have a question or an issue or they want to try something, they may be able to check, right? I mean, Amazon potentially would work with a much bigger site, right? But most likely they just use the API and they're pulling the information. So what you can't do, Kronos, is list the price and not have it up to date. So that's why you have to use the API. Okay, so as we're scrolling down, we see there's a lot of different amps listed. They give you different classifications and so on. In general, they are, not putting images on most of them, and it could just be faster. And again, the curiosity is interesting, right? The curiosity gap is interesting. At the very bottom, they do have disclosure. So they say the expert writers are committed to researching and writing thoughtful and editorially independent reviews, and so on. So they say you can support us through the links, and here's our review process. So let's click on the review process just to go a little bit deeper. So here are the guidelines and mission. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they curate independently sourced product reviews from writers with subject matter expertise for every product. The recommendations are from research, right? Not algorithms. Now, the thing is, they are not buying all the products. So, some of the companies like Outdoor Gear Lab and Baby Gear Lab, they buy every one of the products and they, test them for real. And in this case, they're telling you, hey, we're independently looking at product reviews and making a decision based on that. So at this point, there's so many different reviews on this site that, I could spend 5 hours doing this, but I won't. I won't do that. I saw a couple more questions coming through. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. If you have a question about the stuff today, that's fantastic. Ask in the chat. So go ahead, ask any questions you have. Kronos, great question about the price. It's important to make sure you're following the rules. One of the biggest things that people violate is the images. So you're not supposed to download the images from Amazon or just take images from like wherever online and then publish them on your site. It's against the terms of service for the Amazon Associate Program, and you can be terminated for that. Now, it doesn't mean you can't be reinstated and stuff, but I mean, just follow the rules. It's easier to follow the rules, and there are plugins that you could use that pull the images from the API, and then you're able to follow the rules like you're supposed to. And Josh says, Josh is asking something about the KGR, and basically, you publish something yesterday, and it's at 82, and that means it worked. So you did good, and you just have to be patient. How long will it take to go to number one or to page one? Well, it depends. It depends on the keyword, your competition, and all that stuff. But you need to be patient, man. It's going to take some time. So just keep moving forward and keep doing it. All right. And Michael says, I see both text-based and combo image text in a grid style for the initial links. How effective is either style for engagement? There's no set way to, or there's no set answer for that. So it really depends on like your individual site. And most of the time, it doesn't really matter a ton, right? So I usually just do text links because it's easier. So, and I'm just going to scroll back up to get a look. So, and Michael, you're asking, is it for the initial links, how effective is either style for engagement? And I think offering like a couple different options for like links is fine. So some people are going to click on the image, some people are going to click on the text. Some people really like buttons. I don't use buttons. It's more like buy oriented. So it's like just slightly more aggressive, and not much, but just slightly more aggressive to have a button. And for me, it was sort of like a training issue. And then like, I didn't want to like take longer to publish content. So I just decided I'm just going to have a strong call to action with text and then move forward, and it works fine. So as far as engagement, I mean, I don't know if one like blows the other away. The only way to really know, Michael, is if you were to like do split testing and study it, which is basically a waste of time at the scale that we're usually operating at. Okay. Alwyn says you got your first sale using the KGR. Awesome. Congratulations. Curious Devil, how often should we keep updating content? That is totally up to you. So there's no set way to do it. However, if you have like a tech niche or something like that, where like new models come out often, say smartphones, tablets, something like that, you'll want to update it all the time, right? As often as you can, because if you have good information that's up to date, then you'll be able to get more traffic, and Google knows that certain like products have updates often, so it'll be worthwhile for you to do updates. However, I tend to go for stuff that doesn't change very often so that you don't have to update it all the time. But it's totally up to you. There's no set answer for that. Again, I'll quickly mention that Five Figure Niche site is open for enrollment. I know a few people in the chat are new students, so looking forward to working with you. And any other questions about this teardown? And for the people that joined a little late, there's a lot of traffic on this site. I believe it used to be part of the about.com site, but now it's part of the dash like company and media company. So, you know, I think they've done a good job, and there's a ton of content. So Alwayne says, how long should informational articles be? Well, just like all articles, as long as they need to be to answer the question for the user. So whatever you want. I mean, yeah. And Duke is telling me it was part of about.com. So good to go. And Alwayne, you're saying 800 to 1200 words. Again, you can make it however long you want. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. And Michael, okay. So Michael is saying about the category landing pages for the audio buying guide. Okay. Let me go back. So category for the audio buying guide. All right. All right. So you're saying you see both text-based and combo image in the grid section for the initial links. How effective is either style? No clue. I have no idea about that one. So I think like you're saying for the initial links. Yeah, well, regardless, as far as like anything being like how well something works for engagement, I won't know. So there are certain things that, you know, I think this site does well, but as we look through both the informational and the product review content, it's pretty clear that like, you know, they could format the text better. So, and we know that just from like looking at other sites, and we see, oh, like bullet points are good. We see that Google likes bullet points. We see it's easier to read bullet points. And if you're comparing multiple products, maybe like a table could be nice, or bullet points in two different sections with like pros and cons, just from a visual perspective. Like we know that's good, and this site doesn't do it. Now I'm not sure why, but we know that those are a pretty good idea. So anyway, Michael, sorry I couldn't answer more accurately, I guess. All right. And then Pastor Duke says, did you find the category buying guides and the actual articles best a little disingenuous? Buying guides and the actual articles, I don't think so. And maybe I'm not following. So audio buying guides. You know what? I kind of assume a buying guide is going to help guide me to make the purchase. So I don't think so. I think that's okay because if I am looking for, yeah, if I'm looking for headphones or whatever, these are the kind of articles that I would probably be drawn to. So I guess it depends. So if other people thought that, then I could be wrong. So, but I don't think so. I think it's probably okay. They're they're and Duke, you are saying a buying guide is what to look for. A best list is a money page. Okay. And I see, like, I get what you're saying. So I clicked on this buying guides expecting, potentially at least some information on like what to purchase and how to make a choice, but they literally don't talk about any of the features. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't think disingenuous. I think just like not as good as it could be. And this is an advantage, right? So like we could create a site. So best headphones under $100 to buy in 2018. So we could create an article that is a better buying guide than this post because there's really not any information on how to choose such a product. It's just a bunch of product with mini reviews. So in that case, yeah, Duke, I guess you're right. Disingenuous, I think would be a strong word for me, but it's kind of, for this site, it seems normal. Maybe that's wrong for me to think that, but this is kind of my take. All right. Any other questions about this teardown? Cool. So, like I mentioned, if you want to get ideas for how-to articles, this is a great site to just look at how they're approaching these different like categories, right? There are so many different how-to guides on like many different areas. I mean, I could just imagine how to do like internet and networking things. Wow, there's tons of info they could have and then really build up a lot of relevancy around a specific topic, say like wireless routers with that networking idea. So if you can, take that idea and apply it to your own, pretty useful. All right. So the questions have slowed down. Thanks everybody for joining in today. And don't forget, Five Figure Niche site is open for enrollment this week. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. If you have any questions or anything, you can shoot me an email or on Five Figure Niche site on the sales page. There's like a little chat area. So you could click that. If I happen to be around chatting, you could ask me live. Otherwise, you can just send me a note and I'll answer back as soon as possible. So thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.